Hello, NYWCites. I am the administrator of the NYWC message board, Robert Lolly. Aftermath 2026 was a great way for the New York Wrestling Connection to follow up from Psycho Circus 23 last month. Managed to get there just after 6:30, and just as the show was about to get underway, Sam, Lauren, Tommy, and Robin arrived, and when we had our seats ready for us, they had tape on them. And, we had, it said the Lottie Squad on it. Okay, so they showed up. The show was streamed live on IWTV, folks. And by the way, we kicked off the night with a great singles competition as the North Star Dante Storm challenged Sage Chance for the Fusion Championship. Now, these two guys really turned it up a notch, and really was one hot opener. Sage Chance defeated the North Star Dante Storm at 9 minutes 7 seconds to retain the Fusion Championship. And by the way, I guess it's safe to say the Fusion Championship was slimed, because it was like the word fusion, it was in green letters. It wasn't the Fusion Championship belt that everybody has known and loved over the years. Alright, up next we had tag team action as we saw two men who were part of the early years of NYWC, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider and Big Time Tony Burma, as they clashed with Christian Nunez and Jorge La Bestia, accompanied by his manager Johnny Brando. This was very good, and I will say Jorge and Christian were victorious over Burma and Spider at 8 minutes 35 seconds. Jorge seemingly bounced back from failing to win the championship in the Psycho Circus match last month, and maybe Jorge and Christian, maybe they'll be a regular team from this point on. Up next was we saw making his return a man who hasn't been seen at NYWC in maybe close to a decade, Dr. Sleep, Anthony Gangone, as he took on the Big O for the 03 championship. VSK was supposed to challenge Big O for the title, but I guess VSK couldn't make this event. The Big O defeats Dr. Sleep, Anthony Gangone, at 7 minutes 5 seconds to retain the 03 championship. Next up, out comes Julian Quaid talking about when he got beat up by Boo Sullivan and Apollyon at the start of Psycho Circus last month. And Quaid was in the ring with Damian Olin. And eventually some masked man comes out and he mentioned monsters, and he said the Darksiders, Apollyon and Boo Sullivan, come out. I don't know if the bell ever officially rang to start the match. If it did, I've never heard it. But Boo Sullivan and Apollyon defeated Julian Quaid and Damian Olin to win the match, because they rang the bell to end the match. I didn't hear a bell to start, so I probably just didn't hear the bell for them to start the match. Alright. Then, to my surprise, we saw this match, which I thought was going to be the main event, as Tommy Rant challenged the Asgardian Beast, Cade Lothbrock, for the championship. Lothbrock, of course, coming to ring by Brian Vidko. Eventually, I forgot who was on whose shoulders, but referee Zach got knocked over. And then, eventually, out comes Sage Chance. I think he eventually took a F5 from Lothbrock. Then, out comes Kylie Alexa in a hoodie, and she hit a tornado DDT on Cade. I forgot what happened, but Zach, I think, tried to get up and make a count, but I don't know if Cade kicked out or something happened. But Cade Lothbrock eventually hits Tommy Rant with the Lariato. Lothbrock also hit the last call, or as I used to refer to it as, the Scott Hall Slam. If any of you watched the late Scott Hall, Razor Ramon throughout the years, you know what move that is. But Cade Lothbrock defeats Tommy Rant to retain the heavyweight championship at 11 minutes 32 seconds. It was at that point, bringing it out to Jason Linnick tells the crowd they're going to take a very short intermission, but it didn't seem short. Because I know it's hectic when everybody has to get up. People are getting up to either use the bathroom. Fans trying to buy merch from wrestlers. Damn, what else we got? Buy merch from wrestlers. Like I said, use the bathroom. Buy food and drinks, and I'll get to that in a little bit. And also people go outside to smoke. Or vape. Not a good looking women in the crowd, and this was one hot crowd for this show. Hopefully a good portion of that crowd will come back for either next month or maybe in the future, because they brought the energy. That's for certain. Yeah, as I was saying about the food truck was not there for this event. Instead, they were selling those little puny bags of chips, various chips. Well, they were only charging $1 for them, but you wouldn't believe this. In my day, yeah, I'm starting to feel old when I say that. In my day, in the 80s and the 90s, you can get a puny bag of chips for like only 25 cents at any small grocery store. Now a bag of chips that size is only $1, and now it's more air than chips. And also, they were selling beer for $5, but they were charging $3 for sodas. And they had ordered, I don't know how many pizzas they ordered. I don't know, obviously they ordered them from somewhere. I don't know where in Long Island they ordered it from, or the name of the pizzeria. But I give them credit for this. They had a heck of a deal. You know, one slice, they charged $3 for one slice, 2 slices for only $5. That's way cheaper than going to a pizza place for 2 slices here in the year 2026. I did eat before, and I'll get to that place later. Oh, and also, during intermission, the song Come On Eileen was playing, and I saw 2 pretty women were like dancing to that, but I'm sure those babes are either with someone they love, or they've got, or they're probably too young for me anyway. But I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself a little bit, but the ladies, so many good-looking chicks come to wrestling shows. All right, now the second half of the show gets underway. Out comes Dirty Dirk Moore, who came out to a little Dirty Rednecks theme. I don't know if it's an actual song, but it went something like this. For some reason, when I hear that, I can't help but think of this particular theme music from WCW in the 1990s. All right, I'm going to quiz everybody out there. What particular WCW studs... I messed it up. I already gave it away. I'm sorry, folks. It was the Stud Stable managed by Colonel Robert Parker. Or the man who dressed up... fans checked KFC at him, but he sounded like he was talking like he was Mr. Ed. And then he later became Tennessee Lee, managing Jeff Jarrett in WWF. But yeah, Dirty Dirk Moore came out the old Dirty Rednecks theme, and Dirk's explaining why he attacked his uncle Billy after the Battle Royal at Psycho Circus. And they were saying, oh, you know, he was shaking hands with the enemy, namely the Coginos. And eventually JT Kaysen comes out with a 6-pack of beer. And Kaysen mentioned that he and Dirk were part of the Dirty Rednecks years ago, and they were the original Reckless Wasted. Kaysen even referred to Dirk by his real name. And he offered him a beer, or they hugged, they offered him a beer, they both drank. But then Dirk breaks his beer bottle over Kaysen's head, and he was bleeding. But then out comes Uncle Billy and some referees, and I forgot what Billy said on the microphone. They were saying something to each other, and I think Billy ended up he did it. I think Billy attacked him, and Dirk hit Billy in the balls, and then he ended up leaving the ring. And I think, did Dirk go out the back door or not? I'm not sure. And I think also Dirk pointed out, he said to Billy, Ric Flair, the Road Warriors, The Undertaker, all these people. And I forgot what else he said. It was just, watch the replay when it comes on IWTV, folks. And not just for this segment, but this whole show, my goodness. But then again, NYWC does not disappoint. So next up, we have a 6-man tag team match. On one side, 3 students. I don't know if this was their debut or they were in the Joker's Wild Battle Royal last month at Psycho Circus. As we saw, Jack Rivera, Tavion Anderson, and Elijah Cash Griffin do battle with nobody's better Michael Mistretta, Man Bun Jesus, and the Groovy Grizzly. The crowd, I don't know if the young team of Griffin, Anderson, and Rivera, if they sold tickets for this show or not, but a lot of them were really fired up for those guys, really screaming their heads off of them as they were on offense. But eventually, Mistretta, Man Bun, and Groovy Grizzly defeat Jack Rivera, Tavion Anderson, and Elijah Cash Griffin at 7 minutes, 17 seconds to pick up the victory. Now, I forgot to mention this. After Dirk Moore left the ring, the referee was trying to clean the ring of the broken glass. Up on the screen, we see Too Tough Tony from the Insane Clown Posse's Juggalo Championship Wrestling. And Too Tough Tony said he's going to be appearing at Massacre of the Mat Saturday, April 25th. More on that one in a little bit. Okay. But right after Mistretta, Man Bun, and Grizzly won their match, Mistretta took the microphone. He was saying he's looking forward to Master of the Mat next month. And Man Bun took the microphone. Man Bun took the microphone and he eventually, took the microphone and he said that he's going to enter, Man Bun himself is going to enter that match. And more people have yet to be announced for that show. Hold that thought a second, folks. All right. Next. The next match we saw making her NYWC debut, the alpha female Amara Vane, as she challenged the pretty prima donna Kylie Alexa for the Starlet Championship. And Kylie's definitely another one in the good to great match department. And Kylie Alexa eventually defeats Amara Vane at 12 minutes 54 seconds to retain the Starlet Championship. Okay, up next we saw Bam Sullivan and the Resident Rodent Mouse, the Extricated, challenge CJ Bambino and Nikki Primo, now known as the Cuginos, for the tag team title. Extricated committed a Pearl Harbor job. If you know what that is in wrestling, then you've probably been watching as long as I have. Match got underway. The Cuginos eventually defeat the Extricated at 11 minutes 26 seconds to retain the tag team championship. Okay, and then what wound up being the main event, we saw a scumbag Sal Savelli go one-on-one with the top tier A1G in a chains and chairs match, where they were going to be linked to the chain by their wrists, but it wasn't from the beginning. I think they started going at it, and Ref Larry, he called for the bell to get the match underway. They eventually took it over the guardrail. We had a crowd brawl, and it was so hectic I couldn't even see what they were doing to each other until they came back right by us, and then they got linked to the chain. And man, heck of a match these two boys had. And eventually, at one point, Savelli's got A1G against the ropes. He's tying the chain around him. He had the chair ready, but out comes Jaden Vallow, who of course wrestled hurt last month at Psycho Circus, and he had that boot on his foot, and Val's asking him what's wrong with you and all this other stuff. In the meantime, Valo took all the chains off of A1G. Savelli still had the chair. Savelli hits Valo with the chair from behind. Eventually, A1G had the chain wrapped around his fist, hit like, I think, 2 super punches, and then he gave Savelli the concerto. Top tier A1G defeats scumbag Savelli at, I couldn't even believe this when I saw, as the show was winding down, saw the time of this match, at which 34 minutes 49 seconds. After the match, A1G took the microphone and talked about, and I'm going to be the top tier, I want to be the best, and he issued a challenge to face the premier athlete, Tony Nese, at Master of the Mat on Friday, April 24th. It's not official yet for that one yet, folks, but of course, as they say, stay tuned. Okay. Ooh. Personal notes. It was great hanging with fellow NYWCites, Sam, Lauren, Robin, and Tommy. Good seeing Dan Acosta, who saw me after the show. Shane, I can't forget him. Storm and Mike Norman, Brian Vitko. Who else I remember seeing? Oh, how can I forget? No longer Little Dubby, Mikey Muscles Marinara was wearing a mask. La 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 la. Woo. I got to mention about the hot crowd, the ones that were sitting underneath that video screen. Let's just say throughout the night, they were having proverbial cream fests. They were all buzzing about referee Larry for some reason as well. Here's a memorable quote. I'm never going to stop hearing that chat. Tommy rant to Tommy and sitting near me, because he's always drive a school bus. I don't know why he says that all the time, though, to him. Another thing, I got a bone to pick. Why is someone always in the crowd, whether it's NYWC or anywhere else, somebody's gotta yell, grab his dick and twist it. Okay? I forgot Amy was there. By the way, food. Taco Fresco on Railroad Avenue across the street from Babylon train station. I stopped in there. They got some good food, but that burrito they gave me, that didn't fill me up. I'm going to have to get a second one next time. Ugh. Ew. All right. Ooh. Oh. Okay, folks. Okay, let me see. Okay, here we go. The New York Wrestling Connection returns to action returns next month with a double dose of action. Friday night, April 24th, 8 p.m. bell time. It's the springtime tradition, Master of the Mat, this year entitled Preeminence. There will be 4 first round / qualifying matches competed in rounds. My understanding, whoever wins 2 rounds first will advance to the Master of the Mat later in the show. Among the participants so far are Nobody's Better Michael Mastretta, Man Bun Jesus, and making his return, Fancy Ryan Clancy. Obviously, more participants will be announced between now and the show. But also on Friday night, April 24th, it's going to be the Big O having his swan song, his final match against the man who loves the number 3, the Greek god, Papa Don. Now, the following night, Saturday, April 25th, with a 7 p.m. start, it's the return of Massacre of the Mat Hardcore. And that's the 4-way, Master of the Mat match with the hardcore twist. No word on who's in that one either. Except for, of course, Too Tough Tony is already announced for that one. But I would like to see, I don't know which show it would be, but see Dirk Moore against his Uncle Billy. Would like to see, if Jaden Valo's ready, Valo against Scumbag Savelli. By the way, Boo Sullivan and Apollyon, I don't know if that was, oh, actually, yeah. I don't know what theme music it came out to this time, but that was very good. And Boo, I noticed you had on the back of your gear, Nemesis Enforcer. I thought about the Cobra La character from the G.I. Joe movie back in the 1980s. Childhood was awesome. Okay. Okay, I was hoping to do a Roberts rundown about this show, but I didn't find time to do it. But I'd like to say, since I haven't done this one in a while, okay, this goes out to all past and present members of NYWC's roster. If you would like to do whether you've done one before or you've done one in the past, if you want to do a no punches pulled interview for the first time, or those who've done one already want to do a second one, or for the rare gems who've done 2 already and want to do a third, let me know, folks, because I feel the urge to do one of those interviews again, because I haven't done them in a long time. So again, past or present members of NYWC, please let me know if you want to do an NP no punches pulled interview for the first time, or if you've done one in the past, do a second, or the rare gems that did 2 already, if you want to do a third, let me know, because I really miss doing those interviews. Alright, okay. Oh, I think I saw Jessica Grabowski, I think that's her last name. She was in the building. Wheelchair Joey was there. I forgot who else we got. Oh, what else can I say about this very show, which was so great? Let's see. Damn.
This station is Freeport. This is the train to N Station. The next station is Baldwin.
Okay. Well, I gotta say, as I before I left the place, I'd said to both Stormin, Mike Norman, and Brian Ritko that not only was this a great show, but this is a Show of the Year candidate, and certainly up there as one of the best aftermaths ever. But I want to say, folks, that's one thing I can tell you from Massacre of the Mat Hardcore on Saturday night, April 25th, Jessica and Leanne will be returning. So we hope, looks like a great show is going to be awaiting their return. Okay? So folks, hope you've enjoyed this. Eyes hurt. Definitely had fun. Had a blast. So, I would say it, on by myself. NYWC. 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 I'll see you at Master of the Mat, at Preeminence, and Massacre of the Mat Hardcore. And NYWC rules and never disappoints.